what's been the feeling, just how Trey Lance has carried himself, how has he kind of acted in this role that he's been elevated to?
Yeah, I can only say positive things. I feel like Trey has done a really good job in really taking on all the different parts of being the QB1. We feel like at least myself, I feel like I've seen improvement on the field as far as his performance. You've seen a lot of big plays out there. And as a leader, I just feel like he's stepped up. He's just a very natural leader, a guy that people gravitate towards, and it's all been good so far.
You're out there doing some special teams drills. Do you form any first impressions of Coach Snyder, the special teams coach?
Yeah, really good first impressions. I like his style. He's very upbeat, up-tempo, positive, and aggressive. And I think that's going to carry over to our special teams unit this year. I feel like we're going to be much more aggressive. We're going to be attacking more and really bringing it to teams as opposed to the other way around.
There's a young woman in Portugal who's been drawing Jimmy Garoppolo every day until he gets traded. I'm just wondering if you've seen that and what your thoughts are on it.
No, I haven't seen that, but that's I don't know when she started, but she's gonna be drawing for a while. I feel like that's impressive.
All but one of the offensive position coaches is new this year. Has there been a kind of an overarching theme to what Kyle has looked for to, with these staff changes, and what have you noticed as far as how the workflow of the offensive meeting rooms and all that is going with that new staff?
Yeah, I was caught off guard a little bit my first day here and walking in. There's a lot of new faces, so it took a couple days to kind of get used to that. But as far as the workflow and just the language we speak and how we install everything, a lot of the guys were just in different positions here and kind of brought up. There's a few new faces with, Coach Lynn and Coach Greasy. But I feel like those guys have been in some sort of system similar to ours that it hasn't been too different. It really has been kind of, similar just because we're all kind of speaking the same language.
There's about half the starters aren't practicing. It just seems it's a different look on the practice field right now for a good reason. So how do you guys kind of gauge what's taking place on the field in terms of, what your expectations will be once camp comes?
Yeah, it's kind of hard because, you don't know exactly if that's going to be the group that'll be out there on Sundays. But at the end of the day, you really do need, everybody on the roster by the end of the season usually makes some kind of appearance. So you like to see things still going well, even if it is the twos or the threes, and a lot of those guys are going to have a chance to make an impact at some point. But it is, it's kind of hard to set expectations right now just because we haven't seen, two fresh units on offense and defense of, really the ones.
Deebo is getting pretty excited and encouraging after some of those big plays today. His demeanor in the locker room, on the field, is it the same as it was before? Do you see any difference?
His specifically?
Yeah.
Deebo seems the same. Seems like the same guy. He's always been positive, always, hyping up his teammates, and that hasn't really changed.
Kyle, given your advancing age for an NFL player and the position you play, do you change how you train in the offseason?
You know what? Yes, it has changed every year. Even when I went from being 24 to 25 years old, it changed. So there's always little tweaks. But I would say the overarching program stays pretty similar, but there are, tweaks you make every year.
Like less, less stress on the body in some ways?
I would just say different stressors. I'm not putting 500 pounds on the squat bar anymore. I feel like I can get that work in different ways. I'm big into plyometrics now, big into change of direction. I like to, in the off seasons, I like to be, I don't know what the correct word for it is, but multi-sported, I like to play a ton of different sports in the off season. Because I think there's different training in it. Like, I love playing pickleball, tennis, golf, all those kind of things. I do feel like there's a correlation there, tracking a ball at high speeds, change of direction, all those type of things. So I like to incorporate that in the offseason as well.
In a similar vein, I mean, 6 Pro Bowls in 6 years, do you emphasize different areas of your game? Is there something that this version of you this season you'd like to see doing better than what you've done in the past?
Yeah, I think you always pick out something from the previous season that you would like to work on and get a little bit better at, and I think specifically for this season, it's really I want to have the same strength and explosion at the end of the season that I did at the beginning of the season. So if anything, it's just kind of extending my workouts right now and being able to lock in at the end of the workout and know, okay, this is like I'm in the fourth quarter of a game. There's going to be a time when this comes up in the season. Have the correct mindset and being able to execute at that time.
Did you kind of feel like maybe you wore down a little last year? Is that what?
You know what? It was a long season. That one game made a difference. Playing in the wild card game made a difference. So that's just something that now that I've experienced, I think it was 20 weeks straight. That's just something that I can have better preparation for next season.
How different is it for you to not have Bobby Turner around, and do you still keep in touch with him? Like, can he avoid like texting or whatever?
Yeah, we still text, and I miss my guy so much. I mean, that's the longest time I've ever had one position coach was for 5 years with Bobby T, and he's had a tremendous impact on my career and just me as a person. But Coach Lynn has been a great transition, and actually very similar to Bobby T. I mean, he was coached by Bobby T, so they have a lot of the same phrases, a lot of the same coaching points, but he brings his own flair to it. He's not an exact replica of Bobby T, but he has his own stuff too. So it's always good to have some new perspective as well.
That's good. There was David, was it you posted the video of you by the blocking sled?
Yeah, who was it?
That was me. Yeah. What was going on there? What was that about?
There's a drill that Coach Lynn was putting me through. It's really as simple as it looks. So we're just getting used to being in that blocking position. So he just had me hold a couple ISOs.
Were you thinking, like, when's this going to end?
He told me there were 2 45-second ISOs, so at least I knew when it was going to end. He counted out loud as he was circling me.
All right. Thank you guys.
Yep.